Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show.
Good morning, the Rise Up Morning Show.
Hi.
Gong. What's up, dude?
No, just reminiscing about my old TikTok.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, very, very quickly, all of crypto TikTok is being extorted and mass reported to have their accounts removed by this like circled ring of just douchebags who are trying to like extort people for money in order to not attack their accounts and mass report them. So like Alex is just like appealing certain videos getting reported about every hour, it seems. My first account is down. It got unbanned, but it's broken. So starting fresh there. And it's been like 30 other crypto TikTok content creators. And TikTok does absolutely nothing about it. So I was like, Alex, can we do the lawsuit yet? Can we do the lawsuit?
There's got to be something. I mean, at this point, it's a threatened like the annoying part about the whole thing for me is not necessarily that it's happening. Like, there are scammers out there. We deal with impersonators and spam and bots and all that kind of crap all the time. The annoying part to me is that like I, without being an engineer, could concoct a solution to this problem that only involves one human being from TikTok becoming aware of the issue and being able to be reached is the only thing that's required. And it's just not possible. There is no support. There's no customer support. There's no user creator support. There's none. Nothing.
Yeah. So good luck, all content creators on TikTok for now. We will be the spear front of this.
Dude, if it's the last thing I do, I will get this shit sorted.
Yeah. Well, the battle's in the right hands. But that's enough TikTok-y silliness. But anyway, that's top of mind for me. Otherwise, Iran, Israel, seems like there's a ceasefire, which is cool. Oil markets.
There was a ceasefire that was violated within an hour.
It was, but then everything's fine now, apparently. So
now it's the real one.
Fine. Yeah, now it's there was a ceasefire, but like when you stop two kids fighting, one of them just gives like one final punch, and then Donald Trump comes in and says they don't know what the fuck they're doing, and then they get that stern talking to, and now everything's fine.
Yeah,
just don't worry about it, guys. Peace in the Middle East.
Some of the peripherals with this are just wild to me. Like, right now everyone's exploding because the Pentagon didn't leak anything about the attack. And I'm like, you did your job?
Hey, you did your job?
So This time you didn't group text the war plans? Congratulations, buddy. Killed it.
Hey, improvements, right?
I mean, I guess we're moving in the right direction.
We're moving in the right direction.
But then it's like, what constitutes a leak? Because the president tweeted it about 800 times in the 2 weeks leading up to this whole thing. So, like, how effective was it really? And, like, I don't know. I didn't personally work in intelligence, but enough people I know work in intelligence. And I'm just like, dude, when I was active, there was a time when there was, like, this massive campaign against social media. Like specifically about active duty personnel using social media and like very restricted on what you can say, what you can do and post and all this kind of stuff. There were just posters all over base, all over the air station that were just like, loose tweets sink ships was the tagline. And I'm like, those days are gone because now foreign policy is 100% run on Twitter.
I mean, it's weird that it is, right? For those of you who aren't on Twitter much, I'm on Twitter a little bit more. I feel like every month I just spend like a little bit more time on Twitter. I just kind of get sucked into it a little bit because it's nuts. Like if I will hear about some event happening and I'll see it on Twitter, I'll see more information about it on Twitter reported by journalists and also journalists. Then before it gets onto like the news, like I'll see like videos of strikes happening. If I see it on Twitter and then I go on Google, 0 articles, but I'll see like, stuff on Twitter coming out from those same news sources. And I'm just like, they go to Twitter first. You get the news first on Twitter. And speed in financial markets is important. So it's like, shit, I got to go spend more time on Twitter now. That, and also, you are actually having politicians like decide policy on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
which is weird, but
Yep.
maybe not, because democracy should shape policy in an open forum. So maybe not weird, but it feels weird.
No, I to be honest, I don't mind it like in theory, you know, the way that certain people have done it is alarming, because you can tell that basically no due diligence goes into any information gathering. And there's a ton of conflicting information from the people with access to the best intelligence, who should be able to know what is the real thing. And so the amount of times that like blatant misinformation gets reposted by people in Congress is incredible to me. Because it would not take them long to figure it out. But I genuinely don't know that the people there know how to do it. Like we've said that about crypto going back years, right? It's this idea that if you've got this body that is tasked with the burden of regulating it and trying to come up with a way to allow innovation, make sure that we keep our competitive edge as a country, and all of these things, but you also don't know anything about it, guess what? You can summon the most experts that have ever experted from anywhere in the world and bring them to you, and they will give you a free seminar on the floor of Congress. And they don't do it. They just call a couple billionaires and like, you must be the leading expert because money.
Well, you know, the business.
Business.
Business. Also, crying little puppy.
Dude, why? It's just
For
like, oh,
those
starting?
of you looking at your dog right now, wondering why they're whining, it's not your dog.
You know what's
Sorry,
incredible
though.
too is that this microphone is like so good at blocking out all of the like house construction noises happening and the giant saw in the garage and like all that kind of stuff. I feel like is fine. This one squeaky little asshole is just cutting
Pierces
through.
right through
Oh my
through
God.
that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Microphone's like, oh no, dog noise. We're getting that. Anyway,
But what's top of mind for you, dude?
well, I have to say that I've never seen so much excited chatter from people about like stablecoins are having a moment right now in as far as mindshare goes. Like it's almost all of what I'm seeing on the timeline, which is really
Makes sense.
interesting.
I mean, it makes sense, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because if you're a chain or a layer 2, right, you want to get those institutions excited. And we all know from you and I and Evan talking with a lot of these like major chains, they are supremely focused on institutions, and not even institutional investors, like the institutions themselves, as opposed to retail, the average Joe, right? For the most part.
Mhm.
And what do institutions want? I don't care about these speculative coins. Tell me about how I can do what I'm doing today better, faster, cheaper, harder.
Mhm.
Stablecoins? Oh, okay. And so that's the best way, because this industry is still very much so measured for success on TVL, despite the holes that exist in TVL. Total value locked, for those of you who don't know, it's a measurement of the total amount of money being put onto these chains or decentralized applications and solutions that are, you know, finance focused or decentralized finance focused, otherwise referred to as DeFi. So, you know, if they want that institution adoption and get that hype on chain and get people excited and get more eyeballs on them, well, stablecoins, baby. That's how you're going to do it.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. I mean, if you just even to subvert the idea of volatility, which is just like a risk that you probably don't want to or can't take. You know, especially on the company side, it's not your money, right? Like if depending on what kind of institution you are, depending on what sort of firm, bank, investment fund, whatever, you can't just take crazy risks like that. And at this point, this stuff is so freaking speculative, and we've had so many examples of failure. And I think there is just a fundamental break or disconnect in the industry that kind of stops people from talking to the right people. I mean, this is kind of what we do. This is our whole area, right? Is start the realization that like, hey, maybe just tweeting is not the best way to talk to everyone, kind of a thing. And so until we've fixed the methods of marketing, messaging, onboarding, until more people are using stuff, I mean, especially in that sense, stablecoins just make the most sense. And honestly, I would say that even after you've managed to onboard the first billion, the stablecoin makes the most sense. That's the thing that everyone is the most interested in when I start talking about it. Like if I ever have a conversation in the real world with someone who is not super into it or doesn't really know anything about it, you know, maybe there's some conversation about Bitcoin that we can talk about. You know, it's not hard to talk about Ethereum and why something like that matters, but then the volatility is very scary. But a stablecoin makes a lot of sense because what am I really talking about? Having better control over your money and putting it somewhere where the bank isn't going to screw with you, and better interest.
What I would do is I'd give them 4 examples, all with stable coins. The first of which is, are you a business owner? If yes, okay, would you like to accept payments that avoid the 1% to 4% charge from credit cards? Okay, you can save that money if you accept payment from stablecoins. Okay, interesting. If someone doesn't own a business, you're like, okay, if you want to send money internationally, you can do it in a few seconds, at fractions of a penny, depending on the chain that you're using. And that money is there. You don't have to wait a couple days. You're not going to pay, say, if you're trying to send $100, you're not going to pay $15 or whatever to, Western Union or whoever the service is. Who am I forgetting? The main money transfer unit business. Money, no, God, what are they called?
MoneyGram?
MoneyGram, thank you. I said Western Union. Yeah, MoneyGram. You know, you don't have to pay that fee. Other things, too, is I like to use the example of the Canadian protesters, the truckers, from a couple years back, where, the truckers all went on a big protest. So the Canadian government froze their bank accounts so that they went back to driving, Guess what can happen if you have stable coins in a wallet offline, not connected to a bank. And then the fourth reason also is, cool, your bank account, you probably get 2 pennies a year on interest unless you go into a high yield savings account, and typically most people don't do that. Well, hey, what if you just had it in stable coins and you're earning over 4% a year? Would you like that? Because it's almost infinitely times better. So those are the 4 things to tell people. And they go, oh, tell me about crypto. Okay, well, here are the things. Are you interested in learning more? Because there's a whole bunch of other good stuff, and also a gigantic pile of steaming crap that you're likely to step in at least 37,000 times as you go past stablecoins.
I think the nice part about that steaming pile of crap, though, is that it is relatively easy to advise someone against it. Like, I just had this conversation yesterday with a buddy of mine that I was active duty with for a long time. He is now he's a cop in Orange County. He's been a LA County sheriff for I think that's the name of the county, right? Whatever, doesn't matter. Owns a lot of crypto, and we were talking about it yesterday, and wouldn't say that he knows a ton about it. Like, he holds Bitcoin, he holds Ethereum, he holds XRP and some Solana and Doge. I think, like, the big 5. And he's been kind of doing that for years, and he has a many, many years outlook for those things. Doesn't trade, doesn't sell, whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. Sounds like you've probably put in a decent chunk. And he's like, yeah, not an insignificant amount. And I was like, how pissed would you be if it disappeared? And thank you, Rob. And he was like, oh, I'd be devastated. And I was like, okay, where is it? It's all in Robinhood. And I was like, okay, I was like, don't panic. Like, this is not like a thing that you need to go freak out about and have a panic attack about right now. But we got to do something about that. You can't keep it there. And he was like, oh, why not? And I was like, well, I mean, if you'll recall, first of all, how many times have we seen an exchange or a crypto custodian of some kind go under, right? Even just in recent history, Celsius, BlockFi, FTX, of course, Voyager. Remember that one?
Yeah, I forgot about Voyager.
I still get bankruptcy letters from Voyager, and they paid me like what, 17 cents of my account back.
Hell yeah, baby. You can buy some. You can pay for a fee to buy some satoshis.
Right. Yeah,
You
I
can
don't.
almost get a single satoshi.
I shudder to think like what I lost would be worth at this point, because it was. Let's see, what was it? Would have been, well, the Cardano would have been near flat because there was a little bit of that. And then there was Ethereum and Bitcoin, pretty much.
Sorry, Cardano.
And I think maybe one or two other things, but I don't really remember what they were. Maybe H bar. This was what, 2020. So anyway, I wanted to hit on cold storage just a tiny little bit because you and I have both been using it for a long time. And for those of you on Twitter, you might be hearing this and saying like, yeah, well, duh. Will, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure cold storage is my number one question still, even after this many years. I would say that the most frequent thing that I hear someone would like a little bit more information about or some comparisons between options and wallets and stuff like that is cold storage. How to do it, how to set it up, is it safe, what are the risks, what are the downsides, what are the pros, what are the cons, which wallets should I be looking at, can I store crypto XYZ here? And then how do I keep it safe? Like, what do I have to do to protect it? That kind of a thing. I feel like that's my most common question. So
It's definitely the most common question, like across the board, particularly from new people. For me, it's because my content is more like finance and economics focused. It's more
For sure.
questions about like markets and trying to get into. I'm trying to get a little bit more into like economic philosophy, like capitalism, socialism, communism, all the isms, and talking about pros and cons and that. So it's a lot more of that I get. But every single time when someone's new to crypto, that question is like number two. It's like, oh, how do I get into crypto? And it's like, okay, like, hey, I heard about cold storage is safe. Like, do I need to go there? And then I go, okay, cool. And then we have that conversation. And sometimes the answer is no. It just depends on your goals. Sometimes the answer is unequivocally yes. Like, you need to move.
Yeah, in this particular instance, it's an unequivocal yes. Like you have, not to out how much money he has, but a large amount by my we're not talking about millions of dollars, but enough where like if it was lost, it would be a massive blow. And it's just sitting in an account, and he has no interest in selling. It has never sold a penny of any of it. It's like 100%. You are exactly who should be vaulting this stuff, because I mean Robinhood specifically has
Had problems.
Yes. I mean the GameStop short squeeze famously put the CEO in front of Congress because of how they handled that one.
I also have helped some people in our community too who are like, hey, I've been on calls with Robinhood's customer support. I'm trying to take my crypto and move it off of the exchange to put into cold. They were going to put it into cold storage, and they were going to go into like some DeFi options too. Like, hey, want to earn some interest? And I was like, oh, cool, great. Hey, but Robinhood was stopping them from moving more than $100 worth of crypto at a time off the exchange, and they had like, I think it was like $30,000 or $40,000, which means that they could only move $100 of that every single day. And they're like, yeah, they kept trying to fix it, and then they kept telling me no. And so, very pettily, the first thing I do when I wake up is I brew my coffee and I remove money from Robinhood every day. Just it's screw you guys. I will move every single penny of this eventually. And I'm just like, I love that. I love that for you,
dude. Yeah, no, you gotta do it. I one of my first videos way back in the beginnings of TikTok was exactly that. It was just some kind of a problem. I don't even remember exactly what the impetus for it was, but it was a problem with Robinhood, and I was just like, oh, I know what it was. It was because at that point you could not withdraw crypto. They allowed you to purchase and trade, but there was no withdrawal. This was in 2020, 2021 or something like that. And you couldn't take anything off the platform. And I had a non-insignificant amount of Ethereum. Didn't know really what I was doing because I had been doing stock trading on Robinhood at the same time since 2014 or 15, and just didn't know that I had another option for the crypto. And then the only way to get it out was to sell all of it and then rebuy it somewhere else, which of course incurred a taxable event that I really was not trying to put myself in for. And it was a big problem because at that point Ethereum was over $1,000 and I had been buying it under 100. So it was a huge tax implication that I really didn't want to subject myself to, but I felt like I didn't have a choice.
I
So-
remember when it came out that Robinhood was, sorry to talk over you, but when Robinhood came out and they were like, yeah, we're not, or the news at least, that Robinhood was not allowing people to move their crypto off the exchange at all. I was like, oh, so Robinhood doesn't have any crypto that they store themselves. This is all just paper. They just record, okay, they bought it for this amount and then they sold it for this amount. So we now need to take this amount of money from them, like out of their account. Like that's all they were doing. It was just literally paper contract. I was like, okay, I know what they're doing. Yeah. This is not gonna pass the snuff test if any inspector goes and looks at this, because otherwise they would allow you to move the crypto. That system would have been set up. These are all paper contracts and they're lying to people. There's probably a lawsuit here. The lawsuit never came. At least I don't remember there ever being one.
No.
And then they were just like, hey, now you can move your crypto. And everyone was like, okay, cool. Fine. We now maybe trust you, but apparently you can still have major problems.
Yeah. So I'm not.
So
not a fan.
Robinhood, very low on my trust meter.
Yeah, and obnoxiously, because if you wanted to get around that withdrawal limit, the only option quickly would be a huge sell.
Yeah.
Big problem. Not
Sell
not a fan.
and then move the money, and that takes like 3 days to settle in your bank account. And then you got to move that to your Coinbase, your Kraken, and you got to buy, and maybe you have it set up instantly, maybe you don't. Then you have to go through all that. Oh, dude, I hate moving money from. We'll get into cold storage in a second, right after I finish. I hate moving. Correct. I hate moving money so much. Where I'm in the crypto space, and I'm like, okay, I think there are a couple stock options I want to play, and then I'll go and I'll take my money over to Fidelity, and I'm just like, it's so slow, it's so slow. It's brutal.
It is. No, it's terrible. As far as so, a couple comments to address here. I do have some sounds on the soundboard, the important ones, and of course.
Tell me why.
But
Well, you're missing the best one.
I'm missing. No, I'm purposely purposely don't have that one. You can't hear them. Well, isn't that just absolutely fantastic?
Oh, well, then I'll just have to do all the sounds. Gwump.
You know, I might just take a minute and hide under my desk and cry a little bit.
Yeah, guys, it's been a very frustrating soundboard week for the Rise Up Morning Show and Alex specifically.
It's been off. Oh, okay. Whew. That may be.
Oh,
Eddie.
you hear them?
Yeah.
Oh,
Eddie's just been cursed, but
Eddie has
Okay.
been cursed, but everyone can hear them. Wonderful.
I was
Anyway,
gonna say, if you guys can't right now with no TikTok nonsense, then I'm like, I have no clue.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
Okay.
do you want to actually finish the thought of cold storage?
Yes, let's
Sorry, a lot of tangents.
let's wrap that up, and then we will bring Evan and Greg in, who just popped in backstage. Evan, if you can hear me, he can't hear me. Oh, okay, cool. I see you. We'll bring you guys up in just 2 seconds here. So, Will, briefly, you have a very singular approach to cold storage. You've just used a ledger for the entire time, no issues. Are you doing anything with it, or are you just holding? Do you use any of the? Because I mean, you can connect all sorts of different stuff to it. There's staking options and all that kind of stuff. Or are you just this is just custody for me?
It's just custody for me, because as soon as you connect a wallet to anything, your security goes down just a little bit. Just a little bit. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're going to go and stake or connect your hard wallet to something that's way safer than a hot wallet wallet being like a browser extension wallet or a mobile wallet, like your MetaMask, your Coinbase wallet, pick one. There's a million of them now. But yeah, I just don't do it, because I'm just like, I'd love to do that. And then you just go, that's not why that money's there. That just stays and stays safe. And
Yeah.
if I die, I have the recovery phrases in 3 different locks in
Yeah.
3 different states.
Nope. Mine is in a very secure vault somewhere, many thousands of miles away from where I am right now, and then also here. I had a question. We had a question on the premium side of Discord just about methods of storing the seed phrase, and so I'll end with that, and then we'll bring Greg and Evan up here. The go-to for me has just been something physical that I can secure in some sort of a safe. So I have a firebox. It's got a key. I don't take pictures of it. Don't take screenshots of seed phrases.
Nope.
Anything. So
Nothing digital.
that seed phrase is the piece that unlocks and gives permission to anybody who has it to do anything they want with whatever is on that wallet. So make sure that no one that you do not want to move that money wherever they want has access to that seed phrase. And if you go through all of the steps to keep it cold and keep it offline and make sure that it's protected and it never gets left around, all of these other things, but you take a screenshot or a camera photo on your phone of the seed phrase, and then you get SIM swapped or phished, or you leave your phone laying around somewhere and someone guesses your 4-digit PIN that's probably your birthday or whatever, all of a sudden all that goes out the window. And none of it means anything anymore. So, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Don't make the weakest link that flimsy. That's a paper mache link in a stainless steel chain, which doesn't help you at all. Okay, so let's bring up Evan and Greg, because I am very excited to get some. There they are. Gotcha.
He's dying over here.
I followed down the wrong tube right as you brought us in.
Okay, so
I killed your intro. I'm so
for
sorry.
those, for those of you who are not aware, Evan and joined today by Greg, coming at us live from New York City, from the grounds of Permissionless, where Aptos is one of them big sponsors of the conference. Guys, I have to say, I don't know if you've felt disturbances in the force, but constantly I'm seeing posts from Evan about what's going on and who he's talking to and what's happening over there. And I feel physical discomfort in my chest that I'm not there. Like, these conferences are my natural habitat, and it hurts me deeply that I'm not there. So I'm very jealous, but I'm very excited to hear how it's been going and how your day was yesterday and what you guys got going on today.
It's as good as you imagine.
God,
Greg and I
lie
both
to me.
probably
Lie to me a little bit.
We were talking about it. We got a couple hours of sleep, not enough, because we were catching up with friends, seeing people. I got into a rooftop pool yesterday. Not planned, but it happens.
Well, did you end up in the pool?
Oh,
Naturally.
yeah.
Okay.
I wore shorts under my overalls just because I thought either it'll be hot and I'll be walking and I can take these off, or maybe there'll be a pool at the end of my rainbow.
Yeah, there you go.
And
That
sure
is
enough,
Evan
there was.
logic in the morning, putting on overalls and being like, I might end up in a pool at some point today. I should prepare for this.
Basically. No, I was resisting texting you and sending stuff to the group chat because I was like, Alex, he's missing out so hard. It was as wonderful as you can imagine. And check out this background.
I was going to say, so
It's
you're
nice.
Are you guys
We need
at
to get one of these.
Is this the Aptos building itself, your New York headquarters, or a different building?
Well, so actually, our New York headquarters is in Soho, but this is
That's right.
Since it's a permissionless
The
conference,
Aptos Arena.
This is the Aptos Arena. Yes, you're right.
Okay.
We have one of the warehouse rooms in in Industry City, so it's pretty cool. Like a nice big space with all kinds of branding stuff like this, and then actually there's a
mechanical
bull.
Oh,
I did see the bull. I did see the
sick.
bull.
I think it lasted 20 seconds in the bull.
Dude, that's better than Anuya. I walked into
That's pretty
this
good.
room yesterday. My introduction to Aptos Arena was I was looking for Anuya, and sure enough, there she was. She was on the bull, and God bless her. I think it spun around once, and she was like, "Nope." So it's pretty great. They've got a lot of wonderful, little activations sprinkled throughout. Industry City, the way it's laid out, is 8 buildings kind of in a row, connected by courtyards. And the conference is in 2, 3, 4 buildings.
Yeah, something like that. I mean,
Something like that.
Yeah, because this is all used to be industrial warehouses, so it's kind of just been converted into this useful space. It's kind of nice.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
It's a good venue.
Well, I am supremely jealous, and
Between that and the soundboard issues, Alex is a sad Alex this week.
Or you got the Gwump, though. That's good.
I do have right now we're okay. But I woke up this morning to 3 more video violation removals that I had to appeal.
This is what you have to look forward to, Greg. When you we are fighting right now with professional scammers on TikTok who are banning every crypto person's account and holding them ransom and trying to extort money from them. And now they're targeting Alex. It's like his hobby.
Great.
Yeah. I mean, the obnoxious
great.
part that I realized, the common thread between all the videos of mine that are getting reported are ones about scams. So they're the ones where I say the word scam 6 or 7 times.
So now this one's going to get taken down. Great.
Yeah, right. Great. Way to go, Alex.
Yeah, awesome.
Don't worry, we're not on TikTok
Yeah.
right now. But yeah, and so I mean, I appeal them and they get put right back up again immediately. And now this extortionist is emailing me repeatedly, just I know your account's still up, and I'm still gonna get it taken down. Like it's not too late to pay me or whatever. And it's like clearly this isn't working because whatever. But this is just my life now. Like every day, wake up, 6 or 7 more videos. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I have.
So it's the Rise Up Appeal show then.
Yeah.
Dude, apparently. I have a
And
little bit of
maybe-
hope that we'll get through to somebody eventually, but I'm not
I
holding my
would
breath.
honestly be very excited to experience the Rise Up class action lawsuit against TikTok. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where this road leads. But we have an announcement from Aptos.
I was gonna say, yeah,
talk
right
about.
after we say what's up to Young Scrimmage, and you guys answer
nice.
the burning question: will you be pizzaing tonight?
Yeah. Do you know Pizza Dow, Greg?
Oh yeah. I know one of the guys who's actually in charge of Pizza Dow,
Yeah.
but I don't think I'm going to Pizza Dow this time.
I'll bring you a
I
slice.
have team dinner. I got to catch up with some people that I haven't
Of course.
seen in a while.
Of course. Yeah, Greg is about to embark on his professional standing and answering questions about the chain career today. I have a feeling.
Nice.
Breaking your record.
I was already
So-
doing that.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys get right into it and give us a little bit of an overview? Evan, I got some good insight to you guys yesterday, but of course you're sitting next to Mr. Aptos himself, so I'm very excited to hear a little bit more specificity about it, and I'm going to get a couple screen shares ready for you guys while you're going through it. So
Can I read
take it
them in
away.
and then hand it off to you to do the heavy lifting?
All right, let's see how it goes.
Okay, here we go. So yesterday, from the main stage at about 10:40 Eastern Time, Avery Ching, who's the CEO of Aptos, and Saurabh, what's Saurabh's last name from Jump?
I actually don't remember.
Sharma, maybe. So Saurabh and Avery made a joint announcement that Aptos and Jump have been collectively incubating Shelby. The URL, if you want to play along at home, is shelby.xyz. And the TLDR, before I get very quickly out of my depth, is data on-chain is great. It's got a lot of qualities we love and that we need in an information era. But the problem is it's siloed, it's slow, it can be static, and that's not helpful for all of like the actual promises of Web3. You want decentralization? Well, too bad. If you want speed, you got to let somebody else own your database and give you the data, at will. And the goal here with Shelby is really to scale not just the security, the decentralization, but the availability, all the stuff that we have always said we want to do on chain. And I'm curious, Greg, if you can, one, how did I do for a bumper sticker? And can you help us understand like what actually that means, and also like why really it's important at this moment in time?
Well, so I think you did a pretty good job.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
There you go.
Thank you.
I need to figure out what those buttons are.
Wait, hold on a second. Do you have the soundboard, or did you find a physical belt?
Oh no, I wish I had a physical bell. Yeah, there's a triangle behind us.
Yeah,
Some
yeah,
guy's
yeah.
got a
some
microphone
guy's
behind
just
the
waiting.
No, this is your ding button, and this is your if I screw it up. With great power comes great responsibility. But so that's basically it in a nutshell.
Yeah, so the whole thing about Shelby is it's the ability to have storage that is fast and properly decentralized in a way. Because like you said, there's sort of a trade-off that people have right now with decentralization. And most of the time when you try to have something decentralized, it's either slow, really expensive, usually slow.
Yeah.
So one of the things that this is trying to accomplish is how do you get it so you can have something like YouTube on chain, decentralized in a way that you can own your data, not necessarily that you end up giving it to Google and they run it for you and they take a bunch of fee. They make a bunch of money off of you. You don't really make a lot out of it as a creator, which probably means a lot to you guys.
Yeah.
So the idea there is how do we build something decentralized that can compete with large groups like AWS and how they make S3.
Sure.
So that's like sort of the main competition of like how do we look at other storage systems that exist today. So there's existing things like Filecoin, Walrus, Arweave.
Sure.
Those all provide ways for you to store data, but they're more about how do you make sure that the data is somewhere, and I can get it eventually, right?
Got it.
And then there's other parts like data availability that we talk about in crypto, which is a little confusing to me as a whole. It's the data is somewhere. I know where it is. It might not actually get anything, but I told you it's there.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to solve here is I know where it is. I can prove that you have it. I can make sure that you can get it in a fast amount of time. So that way it's like a normal website that you would go to rather than having to be like, all right, if you ever use like an IPFS website, you ever see how long it takes like 30 seconds to load?
It's not convenient.
No. And same with like Arweave and a lot of those. So that imagine that, but then take your entire YouTube stream of your show.
Yeah.
You can't like skip ahead. You have to read the entire thing. It's going to take you like an hour to download. And like, who wants that? So it's about the ability to provide this way that you can have live streaming of large data sets at high performance. So then it can just have a normal experience.
One of they were talking about like what are the use cases for this, and some examples that Avery gave from the stage is like if you're a streamer, if you want to experience content, monetize it at the view level and like verify views. Also AI. This is big for AI in terms of like your favorite LLM is querying tons of data points, and you want to be able to use it the way you use Google. Like, you don't want to have to wait for it. And you also want to have that verifiability, that security. I'm curious too, like, I know, God bless you, because you made this great, like, if you don't understand it, here's what it is tweet. But just below that, on the Aptos Labs page, I think I saw that Shelby is already incubating its first cohort of, like, app developers. People can sign up and, eventually they'll be able to start building on it, but you already have people that you're working with to start building on it. Do you know some of the kind of things that they're like doing?
Well, so some of the partners and people that were talking there, so I think Metaplex is talking about working on using it for NFT storage.
Yeah.
I believe there's also Soon also talked about it, trying to use it for some storage around their trading platforms.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. It's an entirely different blockchain, but it's using Shelby as its storage.
Well, that's the thing too, is it's like it's an interoperability play.
Yeah,
and
so
that's huge for you guys.
Exactly, because like Metaplex, I don't know if your streamers know. Like,
read us into it.
It's the NFT platform for Solana.
Yeah.
Right, but they're looking at how do we get a high throughput storage system elsewhere.
Yeah.
And that's like big news, like the interoperability between multiple blockchains and providing that layer that can actually be a base for other things. And then there's a couple others, but I can't remember them off the top of my head, so I'm gonna just.
No, it's okay. The spoiler alert is I'm gonna pull someone and we'll get even more, hopefully, like granular details. So don't fret about it.
Okay.
But it's pretty cool. And actually, I have one more question before. I know these guys have questions too. And this is maybe a tough question, and maybe it's not the right time to answer it. But I always think, like, we know you, Greg. We know our friends at Aptos. We trust you guys. If you say it's going to be one thing, like, it'll be what it is, But the announcement, it's a little fluffy. It's an announcement, in terms of like decentralization, availability, fast, cheap. It's the stuff that everyone has been saying for a long time. So how can someone like me at this point verify that these claims are true? I mean, it's live now, but you got to apply to get in, and it seems like maybe we're going to have to wait a little bit for them to cook some of these apps before we can really say like, yes, it is doing this. Am I right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, so DevNet is coming out later this year. So you're right. It doesn't actually have a fully working system that you can work on today, but we have some prototypes that actually prove that these things can happen. You can take a look at the white paper. I mean, these things are hard to read.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. Like, but if you love the like technicals, you can read through it. The best thing actually on it is there's a nice chart that tells about the differences between Shelby and other platforms and what it's trying to achieve. So I've actually talked with the tech team somewhat about like the infrastructure, and it makes sense from the infrastructural side how to approach the challenges and actually accomplish these things. Because most of the problems are that people were thinking about how they incentivize the storage wrong. What Shelby is mostly about doing is how do you incentivize that the people providing you with the data, the read side, are incentivized to do it.
Yeah.
Versus most of these storage systems are about incentivizing that you can store it, but not necessarily that you can get it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you like, if you can think about it like staking and things like that, it's basically like I'm giving you some like token or some incentives for holding that data.
Yeah. Yeah.
But with the way that Shelby's going to work is we're going to give incentives for when you read the data, you pay to read the data, or for whatever platform you're using, they'll pay for you.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So that way, it incentivizes those people who are running the read side to actually have better machines, better infrastructure, and all that associated with it. And there's some details with like fiber and direct fiber and cool things that are going to make it really fast and really exciting to make it that full structure.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a collaboration with Jump. So Jump is a major time like high frequency trading platform. So they, if anything, they know how to do something fast.
Well, and you guys know how to do stuff fast too.
It's true.
Yeah.
But they know how to do things even faster. Because like all the high frequency trading platforms are all based out of like Chicago. I don't know if you know this, that there's no stock exchange in Chicago. They're all in New York. So all of them actually have they built for all these high frequency trading firms a dedicated fiber line from Chicago to New York so they can trade real time on the New York Stock Exchange.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
They actually
Yep.
have dedicated fiber all kinds of places so they can trade everything everywhere as far as I understand. Which is crazy because like if you think about the New York Stock Exchange, you're trading things so fast that cutting off like milliseconds by having that dedicated line actually increases your possibility of winning in all those scenarios.
Well, and in the world of blockchain where, you know, everybody's fast, everybody's cheap, but there's still a latency problem or there's still a settlement problem. Like, I get that we have a lot of work to do to make up that distance.
yeah, I mean, and like we're fast for blockchain standard. It's still like 150 milliseconds for a block, right? They're talking about tens of milliseconds,
Yeah.
right? So it's order of magnitude different for like the trading platforms in that space.
Killer.
So hang on a second. So I am still trying to wrap my head around the overall benefit of Shelby. I'm a visual learner, so just like I know other people are. Can you give me two examples? One for how this is beneficial for the developer or the group building a decentralized application and want to use Shelby, and then also for like a normal user of that application. Do you mind doing that?
Gotcha. Okay, so we'll start with the platform. So a platform that wants to build on top of Shelby, that allows them to have high throughput with it. So like let's say you wanted to build a decentralized YouTube. So with a decentralized YouTube, that platform would have real-time access and you could actually stream things in real time. That allows you to have a real Web 2 experience in the Web 3 world where you can have it with all the differences and things that come with decentralization.
Yeah, sure. So
Censorship,
like my
relationship,
account might
and
be
all that
like an
stuff.
NFT, a credential, and your view might be like a unique on-chain credential or something.
Yeah.
Everything on-chain if you wanted.
Yeah, you could have everything on chain, but not just that, like the fact that your data, you can own your data, right? So the great thing about having that decentralized YouTube is that actually that the platform is all about how do I make sure that I can stream your data and show your videos, but you as the creator, you're the users, you guys, you could own your videos and store them on the chain or like on Shelby, and then basically give allowances to this other application to stream. So that way you guys could charge the fees off the reads,
Yeah.
and then you can make it so that you guys get paid for people showing your videos, they get paid for showing your videos, and then they have high throughput that they're not going to be like, well, you can get it fully decentralized where you own it, but then let's wait a minute for it to load.
And so am I right in assuming
Okay.
that, because you asked about users too, the users on the other end of that might be like, on one hand, you've got the platforms who can offer this kind of competitive experience and say, forget about YouTube, they own everything, you own nothing, come over here. So they get the trust, they get the social capital. But users maybe also, we talk a lot about, one of the benefits of blockchain is like, I can have a relationship with you that is provable, unique, and I don't even need to know anything about you. And I feel like that would be such a huge unlock. Like monetarily, that would be cool if I could, you know, charge or monetize my content, engagement, things like that. But to me, like that's such a cool unlock is like the relationship that
Yeah.
on-chain data preserves and kind of unlocks in new ways, takes it to the next level. I don't know. Is that? I feel like I'm starting to get it too, but I'm kind of like you, Will, where like I'm going to need to see 2 or 3 applications really using this before I'm like, oh yeah. This is
No,
the
so
future.
I got it as like the streamer example, the YouTube example, social media example, and the content creator example. totally get that, on board with that. I can see how it's useful for high frequency trading as well. Is there another like general air quotes industry or general use case you think that, or like you're getting a lot of interest from already across the board?
Can you repeat the question because you rugged just a bit?
Oh, sorry.
We heard
the
we heard
question-
YouTube, but high frequency trading we lost you.
No, so I understand the YouTube example and social media example perfectly. I can see benefits with high frequency trading. Those are the two examples, Greg, you gave us. And what about a third one of one that now that you've made the announcement, you're getting a lot of interest from, or maybe even beforehand, that you thought was going to be something that this could really kind of, improve for both the platform and the user? If there's a third one you could give, even if it's speculation.
I don't speculate. But
Or
Put it
even
on the
just
soundboard.
something you would like to see.
Yeah,
that
something you would
maybe
like to
hasn't-
see.
If you had the tools and could build it now.
I mean, so I think this also kind of goes in line with like Metaplex, but like if you guys ever have used Google Photos, you have like a Google. I have like my brother gave me one of those like Google Home devices,
Oh yeah.
and it like rotates through my photos. But like, why does Google have to own my photos? I could have my photos separate. I could have them encrypted, and then it can live stream them and send them to this frame. I don't have to necessarily store them on the frame, so that it can be a really cheap device, but I just take it from the cloud, when replacing the cloud with this decentralized storage with Shelby. So that could be really cool, along with even just if I want to do peer-to-peer file sharing as
Yeah.
well.
The convenience of cloud, but decentralized.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's what we're hoping for.
You know, Evan, it takes me back to the beginnings of the faceless ecosystem, wherein we had the RevPoint system, and one of the biggest hurdles there was that we were querying on-chain data to determine who got what points when for how, for what assets. But because all of that calculation was happening off-chain, and then querying also data that was being stored, like you mentioned, Greg, with S3, it was extremely expensive for us to run, and it took forever. And so our sacrifice was either we have to spend a tremendous amount of money to get this data quickly in a way that can actually benefit the holders in real time, because otherwise they're going to be waiting for too long. And the biggest benefit there was that it really limited what people were able to do with their own assets that they did own. So in this case, a token that entitled them to a certain number of points, they had to be very mindful about like when they were trading it or when they were transferring it to a different wallet, because it took so long to get the data, send the points, run the calculation, do the thing, that we either had to choose, we had to give up something. And it would be really cool if we could run the calculation that queried some assets, that the data was more readily available, that we had control over, that we weren't paying Amazon out the ass for, all that sort of stuff. And be able that was the first thing that kind of went to my mind, is this ability to take data that's on chain. I mean, we talk about this all the time. The how nice it will be to be able to take something that we want to make more secure with a blockchain and then actually use it practically
Yes.
for something that doesn't take either an hour to do or cost a shitload
$1
of
million
money.
trillion
to do.
dollars.
Yeah.
So I
Yep.
think you just described what every NFT and like token creator has ever dealt with in any community.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
swear, like people ask me, like, how do you do this all the time? I'm like, this is like not an easy problem, because it ends up costing a lot if you end up storing things, like you said, in S3 or wherever else. You're having to combine a bunch of different things. Usually the people who aren't doing this aren't devs, so they have to go hire a dev to do that, and
Yeah.
it's like
Exactly.
it just
Yep.
adds up over time.
Big time.
Greg, I'm curious. Well, first of all, Will, I wanted to give you a chance just to, if there was anything else. I know that your time is running a little short.
No, the only other things to mention real quickly, because I do have to hop off, unfortunately, is we're still waiting, just like from a market standpoint, for U.S. GDP official numbers. Those come out tomorrow. And then also the oil market continues to slide, which means the market thinks that the ceasefire as of right now between Iran and Israel is going to hold. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully,
We'll see.
fingers crossed.
Time will
But
tell.
I gotta hop off, guys. Greg, nice chatting with you again.
Yeah, you
Evan-
actually chat this time.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, and Evan, I hope your voice holds up for the next few days at this conference.
Appreciate it. Thank you, my brother. I'll see you soon.
See you guys.
must.
Yeah,
Simply must.
must.
So, Greg, I was curious if we could. I wanted to hear a little bit about the behind the scenes of what it is like, because I mean, I have to imagine you guys have been working on this for a hot minute. I'm curious, kind of like what is the process? What's it like from someone in your position, who I have to imagine contributed pretty heavily to the construction of this, to put something like this together, and how, walking it up to announcement time, because obviously that's such a big momentous occasion with any of these major advancements.
I mean, it's huge. I mean, I think the hardest part with any of these things is holding your excitement back and not
Yeah.
accidentally slipping it. Because
Yeah, you didn't tell me shit, which is
Yeah, seriously, dude. Like, I thought we were friends.
Because I've known about this for a while, right? But like, I have to hold my tongue whenever anyone like asks me something, like, because you go like, "Oh, what's coming up next?" I'm like, I don't know. It's the same old stuff. It's hard to like. That's, I think, the hardest part is keeping it like quiet, because you don't want to break this like the marketing push and everything that comes with it with the announcement, because you get that excitement and everything comes with it versus like, oh, they're maybe doing something and you're like, oh, we already knew what they were doing, right?
Yeah, right.
So that's a little bit of a mess. It's like a Trump with the Trump coin. Now they put it out. Everyone's like, "Oh, look, it's here!" And they all jumped on it. And he's like, "We have nothing to deal with it." No, actually, it's an official one. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
right.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So that's the hardest part, I think. The other thing is, like, I think the jump guys, they're great. I've gotten to meet a bunch of them in person this week finally. So it's just great to have that partnership with a different organization.
Yeah.
And especially one that's built so many great things in the ecosystems. Right? Like, I think they were building Fire Dancer for Solana, and then they did a lot of stuff for Wormhole and a lot of stuff before that.
That was one of the things that struck me, like, about, we have announcements in crypto every day, all the time, and we have announcements about the announcements, and we have
Dude,
partnerships.
we love announcements. Bullish on announcing.
But this was like a really cool it was a substantive partnership where you've got two groups who have respectively done a lot. And it was, I don't know, it's like a power coupling.
Power couple, yeah.
It's pretty cool.
We have to at this point, right? I mean, we're past the part of the industry where we can just like fluff everybody with nothing behind it, And now it's like, okay, cool. I've heard all that before. You got to do some shit now.
Yeah, there's been a lot of fluff in this in the industry.
Sure.
I'm glad we're moving on from that.
Yeah, seriously. I got to ask you too, Greg, in terms of, I know you're obviously very focused on everything you guys are doing. Is there anything or anyone at the conference or just around our space right now that you're also watching with admiration, like, yeah, that's no fluff, that's really cool?
So for me, I actually I met Armani Ferrante yesterday.
I don't know who that is.
He's the CEO of Backpack on Solana.
Okay,
Yeah,
read us into
Backpack's
Backpack.
Cool ass wallet.
Yeah, I mean, it depends if you are in the Solana ecosystem. But Backpack is like, it's a wallet in the ecosystem, and they build this Mad Lads thing, like NFT project.
Okay.
Which is pretty big in the Solana space. But they had like these, like, you could program some like little programs that kind of went with the Backpack. So
Evan, you remember
with the
Blinks?
NFT and all that.
Yeah, Blinks.
The Blinks and all
That's
that.
Backpack.
Whatever happened to Blinks? Okay, great. Yeah, I loved Blinks. I feel like they kind of...
he did a lot of that stuff, but what he kind of stretched on from there was he actually started building the Backpack Exchange, and as far as I understand, he picked up a bunch of like FTX's licenses for like Europe and things. So as far as I understand, they're licensed in like everywhere or something like that. But it was really cool to meet him, even though I didn't really say much. I kind of cut into a random conversation. But I think it's really cool to see people like him around, and like a little bit exciting to see like engineers who like drive direction of like real things coming in the ecosystem.
Yeah. I got to tell you though, Greg, we feel that way about you, man. I'm always like, yeah, Greg's our friend.
I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
dude.
it is cool, especially at this point where, like I said, people want a little bit more substance, and it's like, okay, well, who is the one who's going to create the substance? It's the engineers. And that's, one of the reasons that Evan and I do what we do is just that there's been such a disconnect between engineers building the substance and then being able to make sure that everyone knows what they're doing and why you even care about any of these stupid cryptocurrencies and what am I even holding these things for and what am I supposed to do with these things? It's like, well, who can answer that is the engineers. And someone's just got to be the conduit.
Yeah. And it's been like, that's what also has been weird in this industry is I feel like there are two sides to the industry. There's the people who go way too deep and they're talking about ZK, Snark, whatever.
Wasm, Cosm.
And I at least know what those are. But I can't do a zero knowledge proof myself, right? Like, sometimes like I wonder, like, is this too far? Like, you're over engineering something for something that doesn't really help people, or it does, but it makes it really slow. And it's like, does this matter, right?
Yeah,
So
but theory's fun.
Over
I mean,
engineering stuff, and then there's the super fluff, like
super fluff.
Name some names. Oh, see, I want to ask you about that.
The proof of liquidity.
So I'm curious about that because I remember reading this paper, Proof of Liquidity, because that was going to be my question is like, how does somebody who's a layperson, how does somebody like me, Greg, I can read the white paper, I can parse a research paper, and I know enough about
I can send a white paper to ChatGPT.
Yeah, I can send it to GPT, you know. But how, short of talking to an engineer or getting a math degree myself, or having friends like, is that the antidote? Is like building bridges to people who understand and then helping them explain it better? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. Because, I mean, for the average person, right, it's hard to sometimes tell when someone's scamming you or not, or whether, like, oh, great, I'm going to get you guys blocked again.
The damage is done. It's okay. Fire away.
It's hard to tell whether someone is telling the truth or not, because a lot of times what people will do is they'll throw a bunch of technical jargon at you, and they'll just keep on throwing it at you, and you're like, oh, they must know what they're talking about. But, like, why, right? Like, to me, the important thing is for someone to take a complex technical thing and make it simple to explain to someone. That's been my goal my entire life. So you're right. You need to build bridges to people who can explain those things to you, and just be like a little skeptical about people sometimes. And I call it Berachain. I think they did launch, and it's good for that. I just still don't know what proof of liquidity means as myself either.
So I understand it actually to mean an alignment of a lot of chains have a misalignment of incentives between like apps and users and validators.
Okay.
And my understanding is they are getting liquidity from people who want to build any kind of dApp or whatever. If you're a DEX, if you're an exchange and an NFT platform, whatever, you put up liquidity that the users. It enforces staking. They've got 3 different tokens. I don't know. I'm losing it.
But exactly, right?
My understanding,
it's already too complicated.
It's complicated, but my understanding is that the value accrues to a token that people share in a way that does not serve dinner to the validators first. It serves dinner to users first, and it incentivizes people who want to build something to put skin in the game, people who want to benefit from what they build, validate what they build, to also put skin in the game, and in a more equal way. I don't know. I'll have to go back and read the paper again so I can give you the TLDR. But
I'm not sure I buy it.
I'm not sure I do either. But
that was Evan's original presentation about it. If you remember when we were first kind of talking about it, it was essentially that. It was like, okay, here's what it is. I don't know.
I read the whole paper, and it was long enough ago. You know how it is. There's so much information. It goes in, it goes out.
Yeah.
I'd have to read it again, or I'd have to see someone using it.
You know what, though? I think that kind of speaks to this idea of fluff, because I don't personally think that there's anything wrong with something like Berachain. This is what I would love to see from a group like them. And I think that for some reason, companies and project teams in this industry are sort of averted to this idea. And I'm hoping that, honestly, like Solana will make it okay for them to do it, because they're my best and biggest example of it doesn't honestly always matter 100% what every piece of tech is, if what you can also do is tell an amazing story, build a powerful brand, and give people like some really fun shit to do. Like there's always going to be, there's a place for everything. And I think that one of the things that we do ourselves a major disservice on as an industry is trying to make everything sound so much more impressive than honestly it really has to be for no reason. And then you end up losing so much real oomph behind something. So like if what Berachain, for example, wants to do, not to keep harping on him, what's up guys, is it's a killer brand. They've got great storytelling. They're killing the marketing department. I love the content. There's like so much fun and cool shit that's happening. Like everything about it is fun. It could just be fun. It could just be a killer brand. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's what they're playing. And honestly, like, I think they did a great job with that. The bear, and like, also I love the bear baddies. I've gone to a couple bear baddie meetups.
Oh, bullish
They
on
had,
the
like,
content. I'm a huge fan.
poker tournament, I think, at ETH Denver. They're great people. So I love that. So I think you're right. Like, you kind of need a mixture of both. For me, I am very much like, I'm an engineer, so I want the tech, right?
Yeah, you're getting under the hood and looking at the car.
Well, and I think, I mean, the great brand needs to be built on foundations.
Of course.
And,
If it doesn't
so-
work, then why does it matter?
Yeah. That's why it's always important to have something that can ship within a reasonable amount of time, because otherwise it's taking too long. And then also to make sure that you have the tech that can build it, and then the story that goes with it. And that's
I mean,
why,
to your point.
talking about Shelby and
Exactly.
streaming, right?
But I think that something like Shelby, that's how I would tie the two together. It's like, okay, well, if what I care about is a great story and a brand that people can relate to and stuff that's fun and things for people to do that they don't necessarily need to pull the hood up and understand how every single thing works. You know, like we say, I don't need to know all the ins and outs of an internal combustion engine to go get groceries, and I'm honestly just trying to buy some food, so who cares? Then something like Shelby is one of those foundational layers whereon someone could tell a great story, build a cool-ass brand and something fun, and then let people like Greg worry about how perfectly everything needs to work and how strong X, Y, and Z needs to be. Because, Evan, we talked about the ZK stuff with Evan, and also
Evan
with
McMullen,
Casey.
not me.
Okay.
Different Evan.
Do you know
Bullish
Evan
on
McMullen,
Evans.
by the way? She's building Billions, formerly Bravado ID, formerly Polygon ID. It's a verified credential play.
It's a lot of formulas.
Alternative to WorldCoin. Like, it's
Okay.
WorldCoin without taking your biometric data.
Interesting.
Using ZK. It's honestly killer.
It's
and she explains it so well. She's one of my
She does
favorites.
a great job. It's very cool. But I think to one of the things that we've discussed with her too is just this idea that not everything needs to be able to be broken down 100% into layman's terms. Like sometimes the thing is just so technically specific that it is what it is, and that's fine.
Yeah, and that's definitely true. That's why, an example for me, since I talk all tech all day. Aptos keyless.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
We were
Yes.
coming up with names for keyless when we first were coming up. And, I asked the cryptographer what he wants, and it's like, OIDC, TP, and I'm like, I'm sorry, like, what? Can we just call it keyless? I think that's the best coining term that I've ever come up with.
That's good.
Because it uses zero knowledge proofs, blah, 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 right? Like, this is a lot of stuff here, but simply take your Google login and sign transactions with it, right?
Yep.
Keyless, done.
It makes me feel so much better to hear someone like Greg talking about ZK, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't get it. I'm just like, okay, thank God.
I mean,
Dude,
most
I
of
have
the
to say,
things,
though,
it's
when-
like
if-
one way or whatever. And,
you labeling someone as the cryptographer is really giving me early days Halo flashbacks right now.
from the cartographer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember
Yep.
that. That's like the second level, I think, on Halo, the first one.
I know nothing. I'm totally out of it. I have played Halo, but that's
Okay.
about it.
Because
It's
all
the-
I remember, I would try to drive the Jeep into the into
Yes.
the thing, get it through the door, and stupid things.
When
We've all-
Greg starts streaming video games, we could play Halo, and I will just make you guys look so good because I absolutely.
You know what
am
would be a
terrible at
fun
any kind of
kickoff
shooting
stream
game.
would be us playing the silent cartographer as a kickoff. That would be Evan. It's an incredibly famous level from the original Halo Combat Evolved, and
Yeah.
what Greg is talking about is the art of taking the Warthog that Foehammer drops. One of the first times we get to drive a Warthog and trying to drive it into the base so that you can run over everyone and bring the big cannon in with you. Because
See, this is how I know that Kim and I have definitely played this game.
I was like, I feel like I'm reading a white paper, ZK whatever. The Warthog driving the Warthog into the base. Is that something Jesse Pollock did? I don't know. Greg, speaking of which, how is your aspiring return to streaming going?
It's gone very poorly.
you're live right now. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's right.
I bought I bought one of those streaming cards so I could stream from my Switch.
Oh yeah.
And I was gonna do Overcooked.
Yeah.
But what happened was I just haven't gotten the time to do it. And also, like, I realized you have to have this person in person for that kind of game. Unless I have, I need to find like an online game to do that. So like, I have a couple other random like party games that I'm thinking. So if you guys want to do one with me, I can do that.
Yes, that would be super fun.
But I haven't had time to sit down for it. It's actually really. Hats off to you guys. You guys do this twice a day?
Well, not every day. We do
Today's
it 5
twice
times
a
a
day.
week, twice a day, Wednesday. So Wednesday's our big day.
That's a lot. Really,
That's a
like,
lot.
hats off to you guys.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's a fake radio show, but we make it work.
It's the best fake radio show of all time. So I'm curious, as we get ready here to send you guys off onto what I imagine will be another super boring day where absolutely nothing is going to happen and there's nothing that I need to feel upset about missing out on. What's on your guys' agenda for the rest of the day? What are you guys getting up to? Are you literally just sending me off on a dog and a pony right now?
Yeah,
so that you can
I
go?
gave you a little dog and pony for that. I don't know. Yeah, Greg, you go first because I gotta collect
Tell
my
me why.
mind. Thank you. I sent Alex a bunch of the sounds from my board, and one of the, if you embark on streaming and you get a soundboard like this, we're gonna send you some sound bites that you can draw. on
I
your
think
little
that's
board.
too much for me. I'm too lazy. It's literally just going to be me talking, and I'm going to be like, I just want to play my games. This was an excuse for me to actually play video games because I don't get a chance to. Yeah. So for today, I'm actually doing what we call hack to earn. So I'm teaching move contracts today. So I'm going to give a little presentation about how to code a move, the smart contract language on Aptos, and then basically I have like a little dice rolling game that I made a front end for a website, and I vibe coded the stuff so it looks like this beige actually, which is funny. And then basically people write up the contract and then they connect it, and if it works, they earn a prize.
Hell yeah!
Sick.
Is a new year or somebody gonna? Are you guys recording the content, the workshops and stuff?
I don't think we have anyone recording the content. We'll see. So like, the first one I think kicks off at 10 a.m. But what I do recognize is that, especially engineers, 10 a.m. is early.
It's early, yeah.
Oh yeah. It's funny. Like since I worked in the West Coast and some of my colleagues worked in the East Coast. When I moved to the East Coast, I realized they roll in at like noon because it's 9 a.m. on the West Coast. And I'm like, oh, I see how it is.
Yeah.
Versus I'm getting up at 9 a.m. to have meetings with them.
Yeah. Jeez. I might have to. I've got to get some content on my day. I'm hoping to have conversations. I'd love to talk to Avery just to meet him if he's around, and I'd like to talk to somebody who's working on Shelby. That's one of my goals, is to hear some of the granular stuff that they're trying to fund with their time, attention, and resources. And then I don't know though, if nobody's here, I might have to go just be the man in the back with the camera and record that, because that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you should be able to have some fun with. Since you've gone around the conference, I'm sure like these conferences always have great stuff. I mean, I think you saw the Uniswap coffee.
Dude,
I saw that. Was it good?
The only team that is challenging. So Aptos has got a mechanical bull over here. They've also got a make your own like leather wallet station, branded right on it. I mean, they have these killer bandanas that have this kind of pattern on them. Great shirts, great. Like the merch game is strong with your team. The only team that might be giving you a run for your money, and they're giving everyone a run for their money, is Uniswap. Their merch and their branding it's so good.
That pink. You can see it from a mile away.
Did you see the jumpsuits they have? It's like onesies, and they're short sleeve. It looks like an old school Japanese like workman's uniform.
Except this is not the day to wear that. It's 100 degrees outside.
No, it's not the day to wear it, but I'm trying to get one.
Okay.
So if I show up in a little pink onesie, it's courtesy of our friends over at Uniswap. So no questions, yeah.
So I need to give you so much Aptos swag that you can't wear anything else.
That's exactly right.
Speaking
That's exactly right.
of Aptos swag, Evan, I assume that you're getting me copies of everything.
I'm getting you copies of everything, and I was going to say, you were talking about a fun little game and a fun little prize. I would love to give somebody in our audience, I don't know what kind of contest we want to have, but somebody leave a comment and tell us why. Tell us, I don't know. Tell us whose eyebrows are styled better today. I got to call whoever does Greg's because they're always looking good. But leave us a comment. Let us know what you're thinking, and I'll send somebody a little Rise Up Aptos branded wallet. we wish you could be here with us, but that's the next best thing. And that's what I'm doing today is catching up with these folks, catching up with those folks, making Alex feel jealous, and might get in a pool later. I don't know.
You're a loser.
I'm glad I got nice eyebrows. This is my genetics.
You have the best eyebrows in Web3.
Bullish.
No cap.
Well, all right. It
What about
makes
you, Al?
me.
You got a final thought for us? From your house, not at the conference?
I just had to throw that in there,
I'm
didn't
so
you?
sorry. So sorry. So sorry.
No, I'm just here, pining, wishing, FOMOing. But glad that you're there. Glad that you're bringing us all of the updates, Greg. I appreciate you taking the time out to come out and hang out with us this morning.
Well, and
Excited
shout out
to
to everyone else at Aptos too. Anuya did a great job coordinating at like last minute. I know she was busier than
Oh, it was so last minute. Yeah.
to make it possible for us to come here. So
Yeah, I'm glad you could come.
me too. It's killer, and I'm grateful to you guys, and I can't wait to see all the cool stuff that happens and tell you about it.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
I just so sorry.
I mean, honestly, as sad as I am, I'm just glad that you were able to make it because
It's been a good trip.
Get him a wallet.
I'm gonna get him a wallet. I don't know. And I also found this little sticker that said "Rise Up" on it from like I don't know somebody else's table. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta get that.
Is that
I mean-
Rise, the blockchain?
I think it was a Hamilton from Broadway sticker because it had Alexander Hamilton and over his eyes it says "Rise Up." So,
Okay.
but I was gonna get Alex. They have one of the wallet designs they have is a bull with chains for horns, like blockchain, and it says "bullish." Alex
it.
is always saying "bullish."
Bullish, bearish. No, that I mean, my last final thought is that I definitely need an Aptos T-shirt because the one that I saw yesterday from your video, Evan, was killer. Speaking of good merch, bullish on good merch,
Yeah.
and I think if ever there was a time to kick up the Rise Up Morning Show merch recycling program, we've clearly got some good candidates there. So
Working on it.
I will let you guys go. I'm gonna say that honestly, my final thought is just that I'm missing out, but I can't wait to see what you guys come up with today and all the posts and the content. I'll be watching closely, and then we'll get another update. Evan, will I see you tonight?
Probably not.
Okay.
I maybe can make it work as a man on the street. I am going to see our friend Mark Sepulveda. St. Jude is hosting an event.
Sweet.
I am going to be at a couple of Blockworks events, and I also think Avalanche is hosting something that I wanted to stop by because I don't know. I'm registered for like 12 things, and I'll show up to 13 of them.
You should
I'll,
do a segment called Evan on the Street. You go up and talk. Like, you ever seen Billy
Did you
on
know
the
my
Street?
last name is Mann, M-A-N-N, so I
Yeah.
could be Man
Man on the Street.
on the street.
There you go.
Have I ever seen what? Were you gonna say?
You ever seen Billy on the Street?
Oh yeah, so good with Billy Eichner.
Man, apparently I'm very connected to Alex, and Evan is nothing that I'm talking about.
I don't know pop culture. If it happened culturally in our world, our lifetime, I don't know
All
what
right,
happened. But I
look it
missed
up. It's basically Billy Eichner goes up to people, just like says random stuff. to
Yeah.
them.
Evan,
And it's in New York.
it's the best. It's the most unique example of a very played trope, with
Yeah.
man on the street content, and no one does it like him. It's absolutely hysterical. I will
Well,
send
what I
you
was
a
kind of
couple
thinking is
highlights.
getting myself a little Aptos shirt. And, there's one thing to make this is kind of a commercial because you're Mr. Aptos. But I would love to be wearing an Aptos shirt and go up to people in New York on the street and get the content of, what have you heard about crypto? Do you trust it? Are you this? Whatever. And you don't even have to say Aptos, but everyone's like, what the hell is that shirt? It's so cool, So
Yep.
working on it. We'll watch.
No, that would be cool. Hey, if you're able to tap in just for a quick second, we'll
Yeah.
love to get an update on the day for you. Otherwise,
Yes.
you guys have a killer time. I'm very jealous. And now, as we stall so I can find the button and get ready to officially ride Dogs and Ponies off into the sunset, I appreciate you guys taking time. Appreciate the announcements and the updates. And we will see all of you same time, same place tomorrow for the next edition of the Rise Up Morning Show. And then also same time or same place, different time tonight for Rise Up After Dark, where we'll just see. We can do altcoin stuff. We can touch on all kinds of shit. And if you have anything that you'd like to cover, then leave it for me in Discord, and we'll get into it. That's
Until
also
next time, right?
Until next time.
Thanks, guys.
My
Stay
friends.
safe. Be well. Rise up.
Rugged.